guys. Good week of practice. Finished practice today and feel good about where we are. We got a tough, well-coached, disciplined team in Ohio coming in that will come in with a mindset that they can make create an upset here in Heinz Field. So our guys got to be mentally locked in, ready to go, and it's going to be a football game. And I'm glad we get to come back and play another one.
Pat, does the 11 a.m. start do anything different? Does it mean anything? Do you like that start? Is it?
You know what? I don't like it for the fans. I don't like it for you guys. You guys like, I listened to Larry last night. Larry said, we got pregame starts at 9 a.m., So I don't like it for that reason, but for our football team, for our kids, I actually like it better than the night game. I think our kids enjoy it. We're, a morning football team, really, when you think about it. We go to class at night and we sit on our tails and listen to the professor, but in the morning we play ball. Sometimes I think we play better in the mornings than we do at night. Maybe that's all in my mind, but I like it. Again, I just don't like it for the fans in the stadium, and our Panther Prowl walk that we have in the morning won't be as electric as it was at 7:30 at night.
Pat, you mentioned it in a statement yesterday, or at least addressed it, but Keyshawn's injury, given how well he had been doing in camp and then against Virginia, how significant of a loss is that for that defense?
Anytime we lose, anybody in our two deep, it's significant because it's a blow to our football team. We'll become stronger from it. Keyshawn will be stronger from it. I don't want to see anybody get hurt, and it's a shame. He planted it. Wasn't it? If someone rolls into him, you feel one way, but when nobody rolls into you and it's you plant your foot and something pops, is when you really you just go wow. And that happened to me back in 1985, and it happens. It's part of the game. But you just feel for Keyshawn because it's not easy to tell him. Me and Coach Partridge had to sit in that office next door and tell him, and it's not easy. It's hard. These kids, they worked their tails off for 8 months. Since January, he's had some injury issues, and you just feel bad for him. So he'll be better for it, and we'll get him back and probably do the Juan Price. Got a 6-year deal, so he'll be 32 years old when he plays his last game here at Pitt.
So you're confident that medical red shirt could be an option?
I think for sure. I don't, looking at the numbers, I think for sure. So, but you can't even apply for that until after he gets done playing his last year. So it's a long way away.
Who are the guys that you think they're going to need to step up now?
Well, obviously Amir Watts has been a guy. We've, going into the season, we felt really good at the depth of our defensive tackle spot. Not as much at the defensive end spot, but Twyman's playing at a high level. Obviously, Amir Watts is, going to take on a bigger role there. Not going to have to sub him as much, and then Devin Danielson's been playing real well. David Green has been playing well, and Tyler Bentley. So those are, we got really those guys are the guys that you're going to see there, and I can see all 5 of them playing tomorrow.
Those 3 redshirt freshmen you mentioned, what did they show you in camp that kind of gives you the confidence that they can perform, when given the opportunity? Because they will have the opportunity.
Because that's what we do. We coach, and they've shown they can play. They're playing with good technique at times, and again, it's experience that they don't have, and sometimes I underestimate the experience, thinking it's easy. You played out there for since spring ball, and you did it all through camp. You're good, but when the lights turn on, as I've always said, so I guess I have looked at that. But when the lights turn on, we're going to find out who makes those plays, and I think that's what you find out. So we'll find out when they get more reps in there in the game time.
Does Ohio's run game try to, for what you've seen, do they try to attack the middle? Are they more trying to get outside?
No, they attack the middle. They run a lot of pistol, and they run really kind of a dive play. It's running right down the middle. So it's attacking inside both the 3 technique and the nose tackle. So that's kind of one of their favorite plays for sure. So we've worked hard on that all week with our D-line.
You're coming off Virginia. Penn State's next week. How do you avoid, these guys, some guys may be looking past a team like Ohio, maybe especially younger guys, and what do you do, or what do you say? Or
Yeah, well, number one, we got respect for every one of our opponents, so number one thing is put the tape on and watch them, okay? They're a good football team. They're well coached, they're disciplined. I've said that. You can see it on tape. Watch your quarterback. If you're a defensive player and you watch your quarterback, there's no way you walk out of that videotape saying, let's think about next week. We're not ready for next week. We're ready for Ohio, and that's what we need to have our focus on, or we'll be miserable after the game too.
When you see this many knee injuries happening, do you maybe push some guys to wear knee braces, more guys wear knee braces, or is it not feasible for a defensive line?
Yeah, it really doesn't matter. In practice every day, if you watch out there, our O-line and D-line wear knee braces. On game day, our O-line continue to wear knee braces because more people fall into O-linemen's knees. Usually the defense is running, keeping their feet moving. But our D-line practices knee braces all the time. And, you know, Weaver gets hurt with knee braces on. He's got knee braces on, it didn't matter. So I sit there, you know, say, why do we spend all this money, $1,000 on knee braces? It doesn't even prevent what we wanted to prevent. I mean, if it happens in a game, the kids want to, Nolan Ulizio said, Coach, can I take my knee braces off in the game? I said, yeah, as long as you can guarantee me you don't get hurt. I mean, so he was the first lineman since I've been here that asked if he could take those things off. And he sees the D-line do them. Our D-line, we've never, ever made them use them in a game, but we make sure they wear them, you know, just to keep them safe. It's just, you know, but then, you know, you wear them in practice, it doesn't even keep you safe there. So I don't know if we're getting ripped off by the knee brace people or not, but getting taken.
I think on Monday you talked about Paris Ford and kind of how well he played. It looked like he wasn't really part of the third down package, though.
Mm-hmm.
What's, you know, kind of the reasoning behind that personnel there?
Well, I mean, it's just more. There's more defenses, more. You'll see him out there on third down this week. It's just a slow progress. And, you know, as a football coach, I never want to put, and I'm not saying it's putting him in a bad situation, but, you know, I don't ever want to put someone in a bad position where it's not his fault, it's our fault. If I know, like, he's not going to execute as well in that, I just want to give him bits and pieces. It's no different than Jordan Whitehead when he was playing safety. And then, you know, first couple weeks, I'm not going to let him play tailback. You know, he played his first snap as a tailback in Notre Dame that week. But, you know, just slowly giving him more reins. And, you know, based on what Paris did last week in normal downs, he deserves, you know, to be able to take that next step, I think. So, you know, it's a matter of practicing maturely and making sure you're doing all the details right, because it just takes one guy to mess up everybody in that locker room. So I just want to make sure I don't put him in that position where he's out there and, you know, and that's anybody. I'm not just talking about Paris. I don't put anybody in a position where if they don't know what to do, it messes things up. We had a couple critical third downs that we got one guy at a place. All it takes is one guy not doing their job, and we got a problem. So it's hard. I mean, you know, it's offense and defense. I mean, there's 11 guys that got to work together as a team, and if one guy doesn't do his job, and that's, you know, sometimes that's why you see guys on the field that maybe aren't as talented as this other guy, but, you know, they're sound and, you know, will do the right thing.
Pat, after the game, excuse me, Kenny mentioned that just the timing between him and his receivers was kind of the big thing. Have you seen that improve in practice? Where have you kind of seen that?
Yeah, I mean, again, you don't. Here's the difference. And again, the lights go on in Heinz Field, and then, you know, the timing's off. You know, the receivers running faster. You know, are the receivers running faster on game day than they do run practice? Is he hyped up and, you know, ready to go? I mean, all of a sudden the ball goes a little further. So those are all, you know, things that happen on game day. And that's, you know, when we go practice in Heinz Field, you know, hopefully your motors get going a little bit more, which we haven't said spring game, you know, prior to the opener. But, you know, things change a little bit as far as timing goes when you get into the show.
Is that something you'll do this season, is practice at Heinz?
No, it's kind of hard to do that, you know, unfortunately. We wish.
Last year, about, I don't remember the exact game, but there became a point where your offense became significantly more focused on the running game, where you made a change that was what's working and that you wanted to go with it. How long do you have to give something before you're willing to make that kind of big picture change into the season?
It's a good question. You tell me when. You know, it's how patient I can be, I guess. But we want to be two-dimensional, you know, we certainly have to run the ball better than we did last week. But we have to also give it a chance, and we also have to, you know, you have to have several plays in a row. You can't go 3 and out to get the thing going, as I've mentioned. You know, I got faith in our passing game that it'll get right. We can throw the ball. I got faith in Kenny, those receivers, and, you know, we got to protect the quarterback as well. So I've got, you know, there's a lot of things that go into throwing the football well, and there's a lot of things that go into running the ball well. Can you do both effectively? That's the key, and that's what we want to get to.
Frank Solich had said about how much you had worked with their defensive staff. When you're watching their defense, does it look very familiar? What's it like preparing for a defense that you've had a hand in?
You know, it looks familiar for sure, and, you know, and obviously, you know, there's slight similarities that, you know, like they're doing that maybe we don't do, and you wonder why. But, you know, there's some things that we see on tape that, you know, that we recognize with what we do. So, you know, there's a lot of that around the country. So,
when you have 2 important guys go down, what do you have to do with the guys who are left to play as far as encouraging them and not letting them get down on saying, oh, wow, everybody's hurt, and, you know, what was us? Do you have to do anything like that to encourage those guys to keep their heads up?
The guys coming in, you mean?
The new guys.
The new guys?
The guys
They don't
stepping up
do
to the
it.
guys.
Everybody wants to play. I mean, that's, today's society, man, it's everybody wants to go. So everybody's been ready. Everybody was ready last week. If they got 1 rep, they were ready for 41 reps. So they're all ready to go. I don't think we have to do anything for those young guys to, it's their opportunity to go. And we've got faith in them. They got faith in themselves. So now we need to see them go. They've been begging for these opportunities. So now the opportunities are there, and then we'll see what they have when the lights turn on.
You mentioned obviously some missed receivers open against Virginia, but a couple.
You saw it. I didn't have to mention it, did I? Did you
No.
see any open?
I
Did you see
did.
any missed? So and again, we got dropped. So yeah.
But there were a couple of times where it looked like Maurice was used in kind of in a unique way. One was almost like a pullback, read option from Kenny and flip it out to the outside on like a little screen, and then there was a tunnel screen that was just barely tipped. I mean, were you encouraged at all by those kind of little wrinkles that Mark implemented in trying to get Maurice the ball?
No doubt about it. I mean, the one ball that gets tipped, if that thing gets completed, there's nobody there. I mean, we got 3 linemen, maybe 1 guy to block, and I hope we make that, but I might go to the house. So, I mean, sometimes you're a hair away from being where you want to be, but nice play by that guy. But yeah, I'm encouraged by everything we do on offense. When you watch the videotape, you didn't feel real good Saturday night, but when you watch the tape, it's like I said, it's not really, it's not really what they did, it's what we did, and we can fix a lot of things like that.
Final for Coach. Coach, thank you for your